find any instrument of violence on my defendants? Witness, none. Agabi, did you contact any of the persons the defendant named in his statement as working with him? Witness, he didn't name anybody. Agabi, is the only one statement that was obtained from him? Witness, in Lagos, yes, but in Abuja, other statements were obtained. Agabi, apart from the defendant, is there any other person standing trial with him? Witness, I don't know. Agabi, I put it to you that in the entire nation, this defendant is the only person standing trial for the agitation of Biafra. Witness, I didn't have information to that. All I know is I did the arrest in Lagos. Agabi, from your knowledge, the agitation does not have any other person apart from the defendant. Witness, certainly not correct. Agabi, so who are the rest? Witness, from the news on social media, I know Simon Ekpa. Witness, so because of what you read, Agabi, so because of what you read from social media, you want my defendant to be sentenced to death? Witness, I have said what I know. Simon Ekpa is working with him. Agabi, is the Simon Ekpa standing trial with my defendant? Witness, I know he was arrested. Agabi, but is it standing trial with my client, with my defendants? Witness, I don't know. Agabi, we are keeping count of your I don't know. Just so you know that we are counting, though. I don't know if some of you are counting too. I have counted at least 7 I don't knows. All right? Now, the cross-examination continued. Agabi, do you say IPOB was prescribed? Witness, yes. Agabi, who were the parties to the action in which IPOB was prescribed? Witness, the federal government. Agabi, do you know if the application was ex parte? Witness, no. Agabi, since the prescription of IPOB, do you know any IPOB member that has been prosecuted? Witness, no. Agabi, do you know any IPOB member? Witness, no, but I have seen him during broadcast issuing directives to IPOB members. Agabi, have you seen any IPOB member being prosecuted? Witness, no. Agabi, is it a crime to propagate ideologies? Witness, no. Agabi, which are the states to which IPOB message is directed to? Witness, majorly Southeast and South states. Agabi, name them. Witness, he named the Southeastern states. Agabi, these states have lawmakers, governors, etc., being represented nationally. Witness, yes. Agabi, and they are constitutionally established. Witness, yes. Agabi, these states have the security personnel and they receive federal allocation. Witness, yes. Agabi, every Nigerian lives in all the states you mentioned. Witness, yes. Agabi, so does it mean the people of these states you mentioned don't carry out their supposed leaders' orders? Witness, there are people in that state who carry out his instructions. Agabi, do you have evidences? Witness, no. Agabi, are you aware even the court apologized to my defendant for some of the wrongs done to him? Witness, I wasn't in court that day. Agabi, are you aware the people of the Southeast are in the DSS, Air Force, military, etc.? Witness, I'm aware. Agabi, a former Inspector General of the police and others are from the Southeast. Witness, yes. Agabi, in line with all these offices mentioned, nobody from that region is guilty of the accusations you made against them. Agabi, we have mentioned states where there is unrest and the Southeast isn't part of them. Witness, we have videos where miscreants commit atrocities and mention Nnamdi Kanu as their leader and they send them to do it. Agabi, do you have evidence to that? Witness, personally, no, but the service has. So these were the exchanges between the lead defense counsel, Kanu Agabi, questioning the witness presented by the DSS, and from the exchanges, a lot of you probably sat there like, oh, okay, this is making some sense now. It is all trumped up, and if they allow any fair trial at all, right, like he did in the past, he will trash them in their own courts. The problem is, will they obey their courts when their court finally ruled that they are indeed punishing an innocent man unjustly? And it will not go unnoticed. Put it that way. Today is day 2. So like I said, we don't know what this guy's game is, the new judge, but he has kind of like directed the DSS to present all their witnesses and the cross-examination, or everything. He wants everything done. And by the 8th of May, I think he's planning to wrap it up. So I'll bring you more the next time. General Somto, thank you very much for that, for that transcript. I bet some of you enjoyed it, right? It was like you are seated there in the court when this, yeah? Bless you. So we insist, free Nnamdi Kanu. He has done nothing wrong, all right? He has done nothing wrong. But yeah, if they will allow, if they allow a fair trial that way, which we don't possibly expect. But yeah, let's go to something else. Rufai was in Abia. I don't know if he's still there or he's left, but he was in Abia State yesterday. Abba met with Alex Otti, and they had discussion about so many things. So I picked 2. The first one is about, just to keep it in the diary, right, like the record. So he said it with his mouth. He is not joining them in APC. According to him, he is even closer to Tinubu than some of the people who are pretending to be closer to Tinubu. And I think I have an idea why. Alex Otti was a banker. I think he was a bank director or something. Fidelity, or what's that bank again? Yeah? So, and then according to him, it will be too early to judge Tinubu now. He is not moving. He said his own Labour Party is fine, right? Then he said something about his predecessor who commissioned an uncompleted government house as completed, meaning they spend the money they claim to budget innovation or the building of government house, swallowed it, and then celebrated the uncompleted projects. So Rufai went in there, gave us a bit of a coverage of that. But first, their conversation, the 2 of them.
Nnamdi Otti is not decamping, and my party is not on shaky ground.
Why?
I've told you this.
The arguments of other politicians.
So listen.
They say lone man. You can't be. You want to be close to the center.
Don't worry. I'm being close to the center. I'm even closer to the center than some of them.
But you're not in APC. You can't be as closer than Delta.
Everybody must not be in APC. This is democracy. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu held on to his AD, AC, ACN before becoming APC. If he was, then he wouldn't be president today. Sometimes you have to also stand for something.
Will you ever leave Labour?
I am not God. So,
well, so
I cannot say if there's no labor tomorrow. So you have already predicted them for the
So
party.
you might leave. That's what I say.
I was elsewhere before.
You know, because some people swore that they were never going to leave APGA, but they left APGA.
Who did?
I mean, people move around political parties a lot.
Yeah, of course.
So are you going to say you are never going to leave?
Let me tell you. I was in PDP.
Okay.
And then from PDP, I went to APGA.
So you've been moving around
from
a lot.
APGA, I went to APC. I've been in APC.
So you've moved around a lot.
So
that means
that's not the issue.
You might just continue in that line.
That is not the issue.
You might go back home.
That is not the issue. The issue is that the party that brought me to power is Labour. Okay? And today we have fought and retrieved Labour. So, and I said I will send you the Supreme Court judgment. So when you finish reading it, you will know that Abure is just masturbating.
Really?
Yes, it's not. He's out. There is. So you can declare yourself. You can declare yourself the president of Nigeria today. You can.
That means,
does that mean Rufai is now the president?
No, but that means his masturbations are of epic proportion because his masturbations are causing gyrations in the Labour Party as we speak. Ask you this: has President Tinubu done well economically?
Okay, so this is one question I may not be able to answer. Why?
Why?
Because I have access to him, so I can always discuss with him. So it would be unfair for me to come in front of the cameras and be assessing him. And today is just 23 months into the administration. It's still early days.
Did you call President Tinubu and told him it was unfair when he declared a state of emergency in Rivers?
No, I don't. You are also going to an area that I said I will not discuss. And that area is, I wouldn't discuss.
But it's not fair.
I wouldn't discuss.
Okay.
Listen, so that you hear me. I wouldn't discuss people. I wouldn't discuss other states. I wouldn't discuss the federal government.
Do you also share that private opinion when you see an uptick in inflation despite, I mean, I was just at the IMF spring meetings and the numbers were not good. An uptick in inflation despite rebasing.
Despite what?
The fact that we rebased, the inflation calculation parameters.
Yes.
And there's an uptick again, 24%. The numbers are gloomy. They're saying over a couple of years, inflation might go up 37%. And you guys sit in the economic meeting with the president. Do you ever get to tell him and say, Mr. President, we're sinking, we're going under?
Did you start sinking today? You didn't start sinking today.
So
you have been sinking.
So is it not worth
and
telling
living
him?
in denial.
So is it not worth telling him?
No. I mean, when we go for meetings.
Living in denial. So you support the subsidy removal, right?
Of course.
You support the flotation of the Naira?
Subsidy removal was long overdue. And what was happening? What was happening is that big men like you and I, we are the ones.
Your Excellency, I'm not a big man.
You're a big man. You live in VI. For you to live in VI, you're a big man.
So,
in fact, I'm even afraid of you. When I heard that you live in VI, I said, in Lagos, I used to stay in Lekki. I couldn't afford VI.
At least you own I don't own a home.
Well, we have to find out whether you own. Even being a tenant, to have mind to be a tenant in VI, that means that you are such a big man.
I'm a tenant.
No, but the point is this.
Yes.
There are a lot of things that we should have done. My interventions in this day. I'd written extensively about this subsidy. So it was a scam. We just needed to do something
also
about it.
Floating the Naira?
Sorry?
Also floating the Naira too?
Floating the Naira, I had also written about it. But you see, I think what happened was that the two things happened about the same time.
Which was not a good one.
But then, over time, I believe that this economy, if we keep at it, the economy would rebound. Now, are you surprised that inflation at 24%? What's the interest rate?
Well, it's super high. Going up to 30%.
So it goes with interest rate. So if it keeps chasing you, no matter how much you rebase. So that's what it is.
But the hardship on people, the fact that the Naira is not worth anything.
Very unfortunate.
And you feel that in your state. Do you tell that to
No,
President?
it's very unfortunate.
But
some of the sacrifices must be made. If you don't make them today, you will make them tomorrow. or the economy will go up in flames.
But Mr. Governor, saying it's very unfortunate does not put food on the table of a hungry person. And people will die of hunger, and people are dying.
And saying it is fortunate will also not put food on the table. So you need to do something about it. Just talking. We need to do something about it.
So what are you doing?
So one of the things that we are doing is to ensure that we create an environment where productivity will happen. Part of the problem with the exchange rate is because we are not producing much. It's because we are not exporting anything other than oil. It's because we are importing everything from the profane to the profound. We import toothpicks. We import bottled water. Should we be doing that? So that puts a lot of pressure on the foreign exchange market. And Governor Otti is...
I like him. You know me, if I like people, if I like somebody, I tend to be a little bit protective of them, all right? He is very dishonest in that interview. In that part that I shared with you is very dishonest. The same talking point. The same talking point they seem to all have learned since this madness started. Oh, we needed to cut, we needed to stop subsidy. We needed to float the naira. It's just that we needed to make those decisions. If we don't make them today, we'll make them tomorrow. We make them this or that. That's some bollock, nonsense talk. If you think through any policy at all, yeah, you have to like think the short term, the mid term, the long term, and all of that stuff. So, and if the what do you call it? The supposed the feedback you get from it says this is absolute trash, right? Then you don't go full throttle on it, do you? Or they keep telling the people on one hand, they are telling the people that, oh, we needed to do this. It's not as if to say, oh, fine. Finally, Nigeria is not importing fuel anymore because the money they are paying the importers, they've used it to fix their refineries, and the refineries is now working. Nigeria doesn't import anymore. So now Nigeria Naira will be stronger. He is a banker. He should know that, or he is a very dishonest person simply because, of course, he is Tinubu's friend. They might be in a different party, but they are friends, of course. I'm not saying they should be enemy, but at least be honest. So they don't want to talk about Tinubu because he did not want to offend him, get into his bad book, and he wouldn't want to be called, he wouldn't want to be called the marketing Nigeria, I believe. But he's so dishonest. So dishonest. So then he said something about the government house built by his predecessor. That one I want to show you. Osini.
House, and I was just, because part of the things we saw was the opposition saying that the governor, Alex Otti, was staying in Isia Langwa when they given him a government house. You work for the government in what capacity, and you've been taking us on a tour, which we had all the footage of. What did you see when the handover happened?
Well, thank you so much, Rufai. I'm the chief of staff to the governor.
Okay.
I happen to have been among those that they handed over to. So when we came in here, we discovered that the only thing that was completed and somehow furnished was just the basement, the ground floor. So we said, okay, before we sign off that the entire building is completed, let's undertake a tour of the facility and also take an inventory. They said no, that since we are a new government coming in, we should take our time, that they just want to tidy up since their tenure was over, in order to continue, that we could take another day to come around. So they introduced us to the contractor. So when we moved around,
the contractor?
They appointed the contractor. So when we moved around, we were shocked, just like you have also seen that apart from the basement, nothing had been, done that can really create that conducive and comfortable atmosphere for the governor of a state to come in here. And when we asked the contractor, he said, well, that he's also being owed.
How much was it?
Owed close to 500 million. And it's like we're coming to a state that virtually all the facilities, the infrastructure, the school, the hospital, everything was decrepit. So why would a reasonable governor spend that kind of amount to start fixing up where he's going to stay? So the logical thing is, since I have, that's what His Excellency was saying, the governor, Dr. Alex Otti, since I have a place at least God has blessed me with,